Hello everyone and welcome to Rage Against the Imperium. In today's game we have 1000 points of Harlequins versus 1000 points of Necrons. We are playing sealed orders from chapter improved and we're using search and destroy deployment. Both lists will be in the link in the description and I hope you enjoy today's game. Please like, comment and subscribe. I have deployed in this area, the right hand side of the board, and my opponent has deployed in the left hand side area, just putting those trees on top of that tomb. Monolith looking yuck. So we're going to roll to see who's going to go first. He has deployed first, so he's a +1 because I have dropped 8 and he has dropped 5. So he has a 3, so he's a 4, and you need a 5 or 6 to go first. He got a 4. So do I see some 6? I do not. So it's my opponent's turn 1. Let's go to Harlequins turn 1. Our objectives are number 1, which is on the board. Number 2, number 3 is behind his troops and his shadow seers. Number 4 is behind that rising monolith. 5 is down here in between these trees, and then number 6 is in between those trees over there. So now to my opponent drawing his cards in his turn 1. Opponent's turn 1, he has drawn his 6 cards. He has drawn secure 4, secure 3, secure 2, assassinate, advance, and defend objective 1. End of my opponent's movement phase. He moved and advanced his Star Reaver, his Star Reaver over to objective 4. He put one of his Shadow Seers on 3 to score 3. He moved and advanced his troop up towards 1, and his Warlord, the other Shadow Seer, also moving advanced. My opponent's going to roll try the pathways. He needs 7 or 6 to go through, and he rolls 11. So he's going to be allowing his troop move as if it was a movement phase. So they move 8, and we'll come back after they have moved. Dropped his Death Jester in here, just behind the Cryptek, and just within range of 1. And he also moved his second Shadow Reaver into objective 5. So it's my opponent's 6th phase. He's going to roll to see does he get to cast Twilight Pathways. So in my opponent's 6th phase, he moved his troop 8 inches. So they just moved around his Death Jester, so it can't be shot in my shooting phase. And this troop here is just within 3 inches of objective 1, so they're now holding objective 1. So that's my opponent's 2nd movement phase done. We will go to his shooting phase and see what damage he does to my army. Okay, so my opponent has used the prismatic pillar stratagem. So that means that once a Harlequin unit has advanced, they get to have a 3+ invulnerable save. So he has put that on his troop players there. So the Death Jester definitely can't be hit, and with a 3+ invulnerable, this should be a little bit harder to kill as well. So onto my opponent's shooting phase. End of the shooting phase. So his Star Reaver here shot at the warriors. 3 shots went through, 3 wounds went through, failed 3 saves, so I got 3 warriors over here. The Star Reaver over here shot at the Scarabs and he failed to do anything. He rolled like 5 wounds on his 6 shots and he rolled 1 wound roll, but I saved it. His Death Jester shot at my Cryptek. 2 hits went through, 1 wound went through, and I failed that save, so he's down to 1 wound. And that is the end of my opponent's turn, as he's not charging anything. So let's go to see what he has scored. My turn 1, I drew defend 3, which his Shadow Seer has. I got defend 1, which his troops have. I got secure 4, which his Shadow Seer has. I have Scarring Skies, which means I score on victory point if I kill something that has the fly keyword. So just 2 possibilities to get that. Kingslayer, I'm not sure if I can get that. He has advanced with the troops though, so might be possible, and Blood and Guts, which means I get 1 victory point if I completely kill something this turn, and I get D3 if I kill 3 or more. So let's go to my movement and shooting phase, turn 1. So I'm just going to do my reanimation protocols for the 3 warriors that died earlier on. So because it could tech, get 4+, so on 4+, these 3 come back, and 2 come back. At the end of my movement phase, I kept my warriors where they are, same with the Ghost Ark, same with the other warriors, and same with the Cryptek. I did move these scarabs so up towards objective 1 and towards troops. I moved the Tomb Blades 14 inches up the middle of the board, and I moved and advanced these scarabs up towards the Star Reaver and objective 4. I've also used a command point to use adaptive surroundings to let these scarabs advance when or charge and or shoot when they advance. Let's see what happens in my shooting phase. So we just did my 2 units of Necron warrior shooting phases. They both shot into his troops, and he just rolled his second volley of dice after this unit had shot, and he had 3+ invulnerable save, and he rolled several 1s and 2s. So unfortunately that's his troop unit dead. First blood Necrons. So with his troops dead, my Tomb Blades can now target his Death Jester or his Shazir, aka Warlord. So because the chapter approved you can't use a character to block another character, that means I get to actually target his Warlord with Tomb Blades instead of Death Jester. Okay, so Tomb Blade shots, 20 shots into his Shazir, hitting on 3s. Okay, strength 5, toughness 3 or 4, so wounding on 3s. So 2 blades have got me saying the Warlord, so it is now 2 points to Necrons and 0 points to Harlequins, or 2 points to Harlequins, sorry. So let's see how the rest of my phase goes. So end of my shooting phase. Tomb Blade shot into his Shadowseer because the warrior shot into the troops and killed the troop completely, and I got first blood with Troops Master or troop unit. So that is 2 victory points to me with 2 victory points to my opponent so far. Going into my charge phase, it's charging phase. So the reanimation protocol on the gold warriors, and I got 3, so that warrior is still down. I had charged into Death Jester. He shot his Overwatch and failed all 3 hits. So the Scars got 8-inch charge and were able to go in charge range, and they put in trenches at the end. These Scarbs here, they charge as well, now everything Overwatch. So the shuriken cannons did 1 damage, and that put down 1 Scarab base to 2 wounds. And then 1 fusion pistol shot an Overwatch, or wounded an Overwatch, and that did 4 damage, so that meant 1 Scarab base was killed properly. But they got a charge of 4 inches, and they put in as well 3 inches. So currently his Death Jester and his Star Reaver, sorry, is in close combat. So we'll come back to after my fight phase. So just piled in, and I'm going to use a stratagem. I'm going to use self-destruction. So with self-destruction, after I pile in but before doing hits, I nominate 1 Scarab to die, and on a 2+, it does D3 mortal wounds. So I'm going to nominate this Scarab right there, and on 2+, it would explode. Scar 2, oof, spare went off. So the Star Reaver takes D3 mortal wounds. It takes 3 mortal wounds. So that is the end of my fight phase. Scarabs fought here. I exploded 1 with self-destruction and did D3 mortal wounds. We attacked. I got no wounds through, but he attacked back and got 2 wounds through. So the Scarab is down to 1 wound. His Death Jester though died. I got 16 shots in, or 16 hits, about 7 went through, and out of those 7 hits, 7 became wounds. Jester is now out of the game as well. So that's the end of my turn, and we'll see what I scored and see how many victory points I've gotten so far. And with that, I don't get defend 3. I am on objective 1, but I have to hold until his turn to get it. I do get objective 4. I didn't get anything with the flight keyword yet. I did get Kingslayer, so I get D3 victory points for 1, and I was able to kill his Death Jester in the fight phase. So with that, I have 1 victory point, 2 victory points, 3 victory points, plus First Blood and Say the Word give me 5. I'm going to hold on to Scar in the Skies, I'm going to hold on to the Defend at 1, and I'm going to scrap Defend at 3 because I don't think I'll be able to get it during this game. So with that, it is the end of my turn, and to start my opponent's turn 2. So, end of my opponent's movement phase. He disembarked his players, around 5 of them left him there, and he moved his Star Reaver over here. He moved his last HQ behind his trees to make sure he doesn't die this turn. He flew back his other Star Reaver, but to keep him in range so that he can shoot his pistols from the troops inside. So he's hoping to shred them as much as possible because of the damage. End of my opponent's shooting phase, he shot his Star Reaver into the Scarabs there and killed 1 base. He shot the pistols, he shot the players inside at the Scarabs first and killed 2 units, and then he shot his Star Reaver and killed a further 1 unit, so like 3 Scarabs left. So end of my opponent's charge phase. He charged into my Scarabs here and rolled a 4, so he just got in. He charged these Scarabs here with this Star Reaver. He rolled 3 originally, but he used his CP to roll 1 of the dices, and he rolled a 5, giving him 7 inches, so he's in charge with those Scarabs, meaning he is now on 2 CPs, and I am on 2 CPs as well. So that's the end of my opponent's charge phase. And let's see what happens after his fight phase. So, end of my opponent's fight phase. He attacked my Scarabs and did no wounds. I attacked back and did no wounds. We attacked here. He put 2 wounds onto my Scarabs, and I attacked back and put 1 wound onto his Star Reaver. So that's the end of my opponent's phase. Unfortunately, he didn't do enough to get the Scarabs off of me, or he did enough damage to get the Scarabs off the base. So I actually am still holding 1. End of my opponent's turn. Unfortunately, he didn't score defend 1 because they have more Scarabs than he has Star Reavers. So he's just going to scrap this card and hopefully last enough that he can get 5 new cards for his turn 3. So let's see what happens in my turn 2. I get the reanimation for this Lonely Warrior. So on a 4+, this warrior comes back. And I got a 5. End of my movement phase. I left my warriors where they are, as well as the Ghost, Arc, the Cryptek, and this warrior, so they all roll on 1s with the Helix into the shooting phase. Fell back to Scarabs though, moved the Tomb Blades from there up to here, so that they're not fire range of the Star Reaver, so hopefully I can kill it. I also fell back to Scarabs in towards his last HQ and 3 out of combat from this Star Reaver. So that's the end of my movement phase, and let's see what happens when he goes into my shooting phase. So that's the end of my movement phase. I veiled the Cryptek and Warriors from there all the way over here so that they could shoot at the Shadow Seer or the Star Reaver if I had to. 2 Blades moved and they shot all their shots into the Shadow Seer, or the Shadow Weaver, Star Reaver, sorry, and did 1 wound, bring it down to 2 wounds. 8 warriors were in range and they shot it as well, got up to 1 wound. So then I put all the warrior shots, I put the Cryptek shots first, no wounds, then the warrior shots, because I want to get that last victory point so I can draw 5 more cards, and they did its last wound. So on 6 4-ups, he is okay. So no, he is dead, and on a 6+ it explodes. It does, so, well, I don't think anything is within range of 3 inches. Scarabs are actually within 3 inches, so roll d3. and that is 2 mortal wounds. So that is this scarab down to 1 wound. They aren't in range. So roll 5 dice for everyone inside, and on ones they are killed. That is 1 guy inside dead. So we'll come back to you at the end of my turn. End of my turn 2, and I get defend at 1, and I get Scour in the Skies by killing one of his Star Reavers. So that brings me up to 8 victory points versus my opponent's 2 victory points. So let's see how my opponent goes in his turn 3. Start of my opponent's turn 3. He drew Physiological Warfare, Supremacy, Blood and Guts, Defend 3, and Secure 6. So we're going to just move phase and see what happens. End of my opponent's movement phase. He moved his Shadow Seer back towards 3. I had to move my Scarab back because it actually wasn't within 3 inches of the other Scarabs. So to keep unit coherency, moved it back to be within 3 inches of the rest of the unit. He moved the troops towards the Tomb Blades to be within pistol range of their fusion pistols. His Star Reaver moved towards the 6, and his other unit of Star Reavers, of troops, advanced 4, so they were able to move 12 inches from where number 5 was over to there, and to be within about a 4-inch charge range of the Necron warriors. He casted Mines, Mirror of the Mines on the Tomb Blades, and he rolled a 7, and then he used a CP, leaving his one command point left to roll 1 the dice, and eventually rolled a 10. I used my Mortal Pride Warrior trait to deny it and roll a 6. So he targeted Tomb Blades and he dealt 2 mortal wounds. Because he rolled 5, I rolled a 3, then he rolled a 4, I rolled a 1, then he rolled a 3 and I rolled a 4, so he couldn't use a reroll or anything. So that means this Tomb Blade is dead, and 1 Tomb Blade is on 1 wound. So okay, end of my opponent's shooting phase. He shot a Star Reaver into my warriors. Out of 6 shots, 5 went through, and out of 5 shots, all 5 became wounds. He rolled 3 6s, so because of that they were AP -3, meaning 3 warriors just straight up died. And for the other 2, I just rolled normal dice, and 1 passed and 1 failed, so I lost a total of 4 warriors. He shot his troops into my Tomb Blades, and he killed the Tomb Blade that was already wounded, and I took the last 2 -4 shots on the 5+ invulnerable, and rolled a 5 and a 4, and I used the CP to roll a 5, so I have 1 CP left. So I have 3 Tomb Blades left out of the 5. So my opponent's charge raids. So he charged his troops into my warriors there. He overshot 8 of them because 8 could see from here, and could became 16 shots. 4 went through, 2 wounded, and he saved 1, failed 1, so that troop right there died. Targeted 2 Blades in the Cryptek. Cryptek were doing 12 shots, 2 wounds went through, and 1 Harlequin died here, and the Cryptek shot back, and Cryptek did no wounds. So they rolled a 12 on their charge, so the Cryptek, which is my Warlord, and the Tomb Blades are now caught in close combat. So that's the end of my enemy's charge phase. Now end of my opponent's turn. He has scored Secure 6. He might get Supremacy, but all depends on getting Physiological Warfare. So if I roll a 4, 5, or 6 because I lost 7 warriors, I lose some more. CP to roll a 6. Got a 1. Oof. So he doesn't get Physiological Warfare or Supremacy. Start of my turn 3. So I have to draw 5 cards. Behind enemy lines. Yeah, that seems quite possible over there. Mission critical objective. Roll a d6, go on victory point if you control the objective marker. If your opponent was controlling it, you score a d3 instead. So 3, D3 is over there, so my opponent is controlling it. So if I get there, I score D3 victory points. I might get a Scarab's charge over there, I suppose. Defend 2. The 2's right there. It should be possible that I can kill those Harlequins. Defend 6. 6 is over there. Probably get 2 blades over there if I have to. And the last card, defend 4. 4 is over there with the Scarabs. So quite a good job for me. Okay, reanimation protocols. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Necron warriors. You get 1. Okay, reanimation for the Twin Blades. Because they're when they just put that they actually get in the 4+, so 3 Twin Blades and 4+. And 1 comes back. 4 cards are done. Got back 1 Twin Blade and 1 warrior, cryptic, heal the wound, and now next is my moving phase. I moved my 2 blades fell back from combat from here into my minions deployment zone. My Scarabs moved up towards the Shadow Seer to get towards 3. My 2 blades came back within the deployment zone as well, and my Cryptic just missed out because of him just being a few millimeters out of 5 inches. The warriors also fell back from combat, and the Ghost Arc moved 12 inches up towards Objective 2 to defend it and to shoot at the troops. And these Scarabs here just stay there to defend 4 if they can at all possible. So that's the end of my moving phase. So end of my shooting phase and my charge phase. So in my shooting phase, the warriors shot at the troops and killed all of them. The Tomb Blades targeted Shadow Seer before I got charged by the Cryptek, or by the Scarab, sorry, and brought him down to 1 wound. The Cryptek shot nothing. The warriors over here, they fell back out of combat. The Ghost Arc shot into the troops and killed 3 of them, leaving 2 left alive, or sorry, killing 2 of them and leaving 2 alive. Then in my charge phase, Scarabs charged into the Shadow Seer over here. He shot at me in Overwatch, killed that Scarab there, but the rest got into the charge and swamped him with hits, and he just didn't roll the dice he needed to roll. So with that, my opponent has decided to concede the game because of how many models I have more than him, and because of how many points I have more than him as well. So end of my turn, and let's see what I have scored. I have scored behind enemy lines. Because I have 3 units in his deployment zone, which are the Scarabs, Tomb Blades and the Warriors, I get scored D3 victory points. So I have 7, so I get 7 plus 3, so that gives me 10. So I'm over on 10 victory points. I also scored mission critical objective. So I rolled 3 and I got 3 by killing a Shadow Seer and swarming it with Scarabs. So I get to have D3 victory points. So I have 10 plus 1, so I have 11. I also am in his deployment zone, which gives me 12 points. He is my deployment zone, which gives him 4 points. So I believe the game ends 12-4 to Necrons. So thank you for watching the game. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back to watch more. Of the video, I'm going to be talking tactics, how I played, and how the game basically went. So first of all, I probably will talk my board control, and I thought my board control was pretty good. I was able to deploy my Scarabs and Warriors across my deployment zone, and my Ghost Arc in the back of my deployment zone, making nearly everywhere undeployable. I think when I was moving my Scarabs up towards the board, I did a pretty good job, as I was able to move them in the centerpiece that we're looking at right now, which is exactly in the middle of the board, and as well as go up the right flank to take objectives and to maybe catch my opponent from surprise. Also what was good was how many VPs I was able to get. Now this is probably just due to me drawing good cards, or how my opponent cut my deck, or whatever. But the fact that I was able to look at my cards, see what was on the table, and see what I could use to get them, as well as score as many points as possible, I think was pretty good on my part. For example, making the scarabs go towards 3 for when I reclaimed a lost empire. So for example, this would probably be when I was moving my warriors and tomb blades and scarabs into my enemy's deployment zone to get as much VP as possible, as well as targeting his warlord when the opportunity arose for me killing the unit that was closer to me before my tomb blades were able to shoot. What else was good was the CPs I used. Because I had 6 CPs, I used them all, and I think I used them all well, because I was using them to stop me failing morale, which would have gave my opponent more victory points. I was able to use it to save a wound. The other part I think I did well in was my command point usage. I don't think I really went through them and wasted them on stupid things. I think I kind of saved them for good times in the games. Okay, what else I think I did good was my command point usage. I didn't really use my command points that stupidly, I don't think. I kind of used it more strategic, as in using it to reroll morale, using it to reroll save dice, and using it to advance my scarabs using it to charge my scarabs after the advance, and using to explode, bringing 1-star reaver down from 6 wounds to 3 wounds. So, I probably could have used my command points better, but I think I used them pretty well during the game. I might have used 1 or 2 command points stupidly and just spent them, thinking that was probably the best idea, but I think I used them pretty well, and I think it's better to use all your CPs towards the end of the game than to end the game and still have 3 or 4 command points that could have done something but didn't because you didn't end up using them. And to me, it's better to use something while you have them than to have them not use them at all. I also think I did well by denying my opponent more victory points. So whenever he drew physiological warfare, and me failing that morale would at least got him 1 more victory point to bring him up to 5. And if I had kept that 6 instead of using that command point to reroll it to get 1, there would have been a chance that he was going to hold number 2, meaning he would have scored supremacy on 3, 6 and 2. So he would have had 5 for the morale and another D3. So anywhere from 7 to 8. So if he did get that roll, he probably would have made the game play a little bit longer, seeing as he had 1 or 2 units left. But it was probably better from the end of the game instead of us playing for an extra 5 minutes just to watch his side get no command points or anything like that. So I also have talked about the bad and what I didn't do well and what I didn't optimize on. And I think the main issue of my game was probably the Ghost Ark. Now, didn't do anything, and that's why it was bad. It was there to make my warriors come back twice on 4+ with the Cryptek, because I thought that with my opponent bringing Harlequins, he was going to bring lots of stuff that is going to destroy infantry type units, and not something that is more vehicle based, like the fusion pistols that he brought on all of his troops. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, I'll bring Cryptek and I'll bring Ghost Ark, and I'll see how they work with 2 blocks of 15 warriors. And Cryptek did pretty well, got a good few damage roll costs from him, but the Ghost Ark didn't really do much. He kind of stayed there, and even though he moved towards position 2 to hold it, even if I had moved him earlier, the troops still would be able to advance and charge through him as if he was not there due to the rule. So he kind of just did nothing. I probably would have been better if I had spent the extra 30 points or 40 points, whatever you want to call it, for the Doomsday Arc to gain the strength 10 minus 5 d6 weapon, because at least then I would be able to shot a Star Reaver out of, one shot, instead of me focusing 3 different units on the one Star Reaver just so I can get one victory point. But hindsight's 20/20, as I said in the last video, so making these kind of things is good because I can look back on them, and so can you, and you can see the mistakes I made and the mistakes I made myself and figure out what the issue was. So I think my main issue was the Ghost Arc just kind of did nothing. I was kind of banking on the Nihilic Dynasty buff to make him rerolling ones, but I actually forgot about that buff or that ruling for the first 2 turns, and he was just shooting as normal whenever anything got in range of the Warriors or the Ghost Arc. So I think for a defensive game, it's probably better if you're holding your units in your deployment zone and to have your Ghost Arc there with it to make sure your deployment zone can't be attacked or destroyed by leaving your warriors be destroyed. But I think it's probably better to have guys inside the Ghost Arc and have the Ghost Arc be chauffeured to an area by, say, maybe Tomb Blades or Scarabs, and to have it kind of sit around and act like a Doomsday Arc just without the big ass guns. Because it just kind of stayed there behind cover. It wasn't targeted once all game. It didn't even rack a model. It would just kind of stay there, and there was 160 point tax that did nothing for my army or for my game. So in future, if I feel like my infantry won't be targeted as much, I probably won't bring in Ghost Arc. But for any instances where I feel like infantry are going to be destroyed this game, or my opponent might have good things to counter my infantry, then I'm probably going to bring a Ghost Arc just to make sure my warriors come back to life. But if I'm not bringing warriors, or if I'm not afraid of him killing my infantry, then I just wouldn't borrow the Ghost Arc and instead invest those points in a Doomsday Arc or something else that'll make our army perform better than what mine did. I also think that my controlling of my deployment zone kind of got worse once I veiled my Crypt Deck up into action. Because once I veiled up into action, one warrior blob was on its own with a 5+ reanimation and a Ghost Arc. Thought that would be okay. Then my opponent just jumped from objective 5 to objective 2, charged into me, and just killed 7 warriors in one go. Oh no, sorry. He shot a Star Reaver first, and that killed 2 or 3 warriors, and then he killed 4 in close combat, bringing down to 7. So I wasn't really expecting that. I was thinking he would kind of just camp on 5 and not want to move, because he was actually invisible to me. I couldn't really see his models through the way he was positioned, maybe 1, but that 1 died. I couldn't see the rest of the models, so I thought he would have probably kept him there. But to my surprise, he actually launched an attack and came at me and nearly forced a morale, killing 3 more of my warriors who would have been able to come back through animation. So I think as the game went on, my board control for my deployment zone just got a little worse, as I didn't have the models to soak up any damage. I think if I had kept Scarabs in the background, or had maybe a unit of 3 to 6 Scarabs spare there just for that counter, for that charging, probably would have been better, because 1, I would have been able to fall back to warriors like I did. I would have been able to shot back with the Ghost Arc as I did, and I would have had Scarabs there for the charge, who probably would have killed those last 2 models, which would have done an extra point. Didn't make a difference, but if you're playing in a tournament or a serious game, denying your opponent victory points is very, very, very serious, and it's a very real thing to do. So having that mindset to deny your opponent as much points as possible is a pretty good mindset to have, unless you're playing casual games and don't really care for all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's the end of this part of the video and the end of the video in general. Just as a recap, I thought my board control was good for the first 2 turns. My victory point consumption was pretty good, because I got quite a lot of victory points. My command point usage was good to okay. Probably used 1 or 2 command points stupidly, but I think I used the other 4 pretty well by, for example, rerolling that dice, making my Scarabs advance and charge, and also using the the stratagem to make a Scarab explode on a 2+, and gain 3 mortal wounds from the D3 mortal wounds that it does. And I also think denying my opponent those 1 or 2 command points is pretty good, as well as, you know, the game could have been a lot different if he got more command points. So because I was able to stop him from doing that, I think it worked on my part. And my bad was my Ghost Arc usage. It should have just been Doomsday Arc if it was just going to sit there. Didn't help the Warriors all game, so it was just basically 160 point tax. And my deployment with zone control was also pretty bad. So thank you for watching the game. I hope you enjoyed it. If there was some rules wrong, or if I did something wrong, or if I left something out that you wanted to see, just let me know in the comments. Appreciate every feedback I get. I appreciate all the comments I get. I will do my best to reply to you, do my best to make this channel as fun as possible, and I'll do my best to make sure that there's a reason to come back. So thanks again, guys. Wishing you all the best. This is Rage Against the Imperium out. Let's see you in the next one.